create virtual switches in Hyper-V. When you have multiple physical computers on a network, and you want to connect them together on the same network segment, you would do this by using a physical device called a switch. In virtualization like here in Hyper-V, we have something called a virtual switch, which offers the same functionality as your actual hardware network switches. We are here in the Hyper-V Manager. As you can see that we have our Hyper-V server, host 1. And if we right-click on it in the menu, you can see there's an option for Virtual Switch Manager. We need to have a look here for a couple of things. First of all, it's highlighted right up top on New Virtual Network Switch. This is where we can create a new virtual switch, and we will do it in a moment, but before we do, we need to see the other below shown options. We actually already have one virtual switch, and the reason we have this is because during the installation of the Hyper-V role, we are asked about the creation of a virtual switch, and if we do select that option that time and go ahead and create a virtual switch based upon the network card that is on the computer. Now you see it here that it's just the regular network adapter, virtual switch, and it's an external network. Now let's go back up to creating new ones and you'll see what we mean here. Speaking of external, you'll see we have three choices: external, internal and private. External is already highlighted, and down below there's an explanation. It says an external virtual switch is one that binds to the physical network adapter so that the virtual machines can access the physical network. Okay, and that's why it means external. It means the virtual machines can communicate with the outside world via the actual physical network card on the host computer. Now the next two, internal and private, are very similar. And we are going to actually click on private first. And you'll see that private virtual switch is one that can be used only by the virtual machines that run on this physical computer or this host. So any of the virtual machines that are on host 1, if they were connected to a private virtual switch, it means they can talk to each other, but that's it. Now an internal virtual switch is pretty much the same thing. You're going to see the same explanation, but with one extra piece. So we will click on internal, and you'll see it still is a virtual switch that can be used only by the virtual machines that run on the physical computer. And here's the extra part, between the virtual machines and the physical computer or the host. But it goes on to say that an internal virtual switch does not provide connectivity to the physical network connection. So an internal virtual switch allows the virtual machines to talk to each other and to the host, but not to the outside world. Now creating these, you're going to see how amazingly simple this is. If we highlight private, and then just simply click on create virtual switch, that's pretty much all we have to do other than giving it a name. That would probably be important. So we are going to actually just name it private so that it's a good explanation, what it is exactly. And then we are going to click apply. And then we are going to go back to new virtual network switch, and we are going to click on internal. Create, and again we are going to call it internal. Apply. Now we don't need to create an external because we already have an external. So we like to have one of each so that we have all the capabilities needed for any given virtual machines. The only thing we are going to do on this external virtual switch is we are going to rename it. Let us call it external so that we know that that's what it is, and in fact, let go even going to go a step further and we are going to put internet access, because very often, that's the main reason that we want to have the external virtual switch. So we will click apply and OK. And that is how we can create and manage our virtual switches in Hyper-V.